David McGuffin here. Welcome to Travel Talk Tuesday. We are in Florence tonight, and this is the San Lorenzo Church, the family neighborhood church of the Medici family. And the bells are tolling 6 o'clock here on a Friday night. So thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoy this look around Tuscany and here in Florence as well. Your adventure starts right here with David McGuffin's Exploring Europe. We'll catch you at the end of this show. Okay, well, for sure, welcome to Travel Talk Tuesday. It is July the 19th, 2022. As you can see, I'm still home in Middleburg, Florida, my home, right here in my kitchen. I'll be here. I just counted it down on the calendar a moment or two ago. Tonight, plus 4 other Tuesday nights, the next 4 Tuesday nights, until I head back over to Europe to continue my tours and my fall adventures all over Europe. But I have had a great time just compiling the video for today. We're actually babysitting 4 of our grandchildren, which are all 4 of them. We don't have any more than 4. But 2 of them have gone to the other grandparents tonight. And so we have Graham and Reagan. That's my daughter Jamie's son and daughter. They're here. And today, Graham, he's 9 years old. And he helped me compile all of this video stuff for Travel Talk Tuesday. He was really a big help. Especially, we're going to come to some Google Earth applications that I use on this tonight. And we learned that together, and he compiled it all. So I tried to get him to come in here and be a part of it, but he's too bashful and shy. He's not like my son Brian's daughters, Lily and Julia, who are big hams, and they don't mind getting on camera. But anyway, that's what we have tonight. So we're looking forward to talking to you about Florence, Italy, and kind of recapping some memories there and some recent discoveries there when I was there just a couple of months ago, and also up in County Donegal in the very far northwest part of the Republic of Ireland. So without further ado, let me share my screen again. Well, let me go ahead and tell you a little bit. Since we're talking a whole lot about Italy, I have another Campari Spritz. If you don't know what this is, go back and review last week's Travel Talk Tuesday. I poured it and gave you the recipe on that. We have a little hors d'oeuvre, our antipasti, I guess, from Italy. I have, this is some really good melon. This is honeydew melon and prosciutto. And those 2 items go together very, very well. So sweet and salty is great. And just a little salami with pepper coating and cheese. And I don't know if you can see behind me, we've been working with my grandkids today. We made the pizza dough. It's back here. We made the pizza dough earlier today, and we formed it up in balls, and we're going to make little individual pizzas tonight. And that's in honor of being in Tuscany as well. And you'll see why when I talk about the Mercato Centrale in just a second. So without further ado, let me move on to sharing my screen back here again. And get this going. The Best of Italy tour, Firenze or Florence. You can see Florence is in the very middle of the boot there of Italy. And Florence is the city of the Renaissance. The Renaissance is 1450 to 1600. And what we're going to look at now is a video compiled by this young lady, Abby Austin Whitaker. She was in my band. And back in the day when I was a teacher, she started her video career with doing a lot of stuff, but she came along on several tours and filmed with us. This is her in Ireland one time. And then she went to Italy on another tour with us and was able to be my videographer and producer and director as we filmed this next segment. This is Abby in a restaurant in Florence. So thanks to Abby Austin Whitaker for this next segment coming up, which was filmed, I think, in 2014. We were in Tuscany a few days ago, And we were actually driving from Volterra up to Florence, and I decided to go a little bit off the beaten path. We had a wine tasting experience a couple of days before in Volterra, and one of the wines was a Chianti Classico wine. So I thought, well, you know, since we're driving up there, why drive on the highway? Let's go on the small road, the Chianti Road, and we'll drive through the Chianti region. We went off, really off the beaten path, because I got off the paved road even, and we went on this dirt road way up the hills, up through the vineyards. We were right in the heart of the Chianti region. And then went on our way on to Florence. Up above Florence, there are two opportunities to see a cityscape scenic overview. One of them is where all the tourists go, to Piazzale Michelangelo. I really like to venture a little further up beyond the Piazzale Michelangelo and visit the church on the hill called San Miniato al Monte. From there, it's quiet. There's maybe 20 people or so up there, and you have another grand, fantastic view and overlook of the city without all the hubbub of tourists and buses and cars and everything going by. The Florence metro area is quite large, but if you just concentrate on the historic city center, you actually could walk from the Arno to, say, the Accademia, which are the two extremes of things you want to see, probably in just strolling in 30 minutes. Walking at David McGuffin pace, you could do it in 15, but you don't really want to do that. But so it's very compact, and that's why I really enjoy being in Florence. So we're going to walk down here to a couple of the markets, hit the Duomo. Well, let's go take a look around the leather market here at San Lorenzo. It's a great place to go and get goods like some leather goods, coats, belts, shoes, purses. And make sure you barter here because prices are soft and you could talk them down to a certain extent.
Just for every day.
Oh yeah.
Well, it looks nice.
He does a good job of showing us off. Let's see how you do it.
Yeah, looks nice.
Okay. I think I'll go for the casual design. They bought that belt and it's still serving me well.
Because the belts from Italy is adjustable. Now he says a personal belt.
There you go.
Give it for yours back.
Great, thank you so much. Enjoyed it, thank you.
Right.
Hey, I got a great belt from Florence. My goodness, no dickering at all. The Duomo is actually the Cathedral of Florence. It's called Santa Maria della Fiore, Saint Mary of the Flowers, and it was built in the Middle Ages and then capped right at the beginning of the Renaissance with a dome built by Brunelleschi, which is a big feat because nothing like that dome had ever been built from the time of the Greeks and Romans for over 1,000 years. It's possible to climb to the dome and bell tower, but they're all stepped, and there's at least 416 to the tower and more to the top of the dome. So if you get energetic and want to view, just say you already had it yesterday from the Piazzale Michelangelo, right? On the agenda of every tourist in Florence is to have an opportunity to take a look at Michelangelo's grand statue of David. We use a local guide that I discovered, 15 years ago or so, and her name is Paula, and she puts a wonderful perspective, a wonderful personal perspective on the art that we see.
Our visit will concentrate on David, on Michelangelo's work, and what I would like to do with you is trying to understand why Michelangelo is Michelangelo and why David has always been top #1 statue of the world. Let's go and have a look at the first one. He's making such a stupid mistake in making the hand and face bigger than they should. He's Is it by chance that exactly these two opposite parts are bigger? Or does he want to emphasize that with his hand he can kill the giant and with the other face he's doubting to kill the giant?
What I like about Paola is that she cuts away from the dryness of facts and kind of gives a visual perception and lets you make decisions. And she makes it personal to everybody. So that's why I like hiring her as a guide here in Florence. You'll see that tomorrow as you go through the artwork. You see how it is well.
Now let's see if you paid attention yesterday. Oh dear. Okay? Test time. Look at the painting. I want you to tell me, is it done before or after, David?
After because they're twisted.
Bravissimi. Very clear. Okay, after David. When we look at this,
It's not just a dry commentary. It's more of, here's maybe what the artist was thinking. Or what do you think? What do you see in the statues? What are you getting from that? What do you think the artist was thinking? And so it's a more personable and a more introspective view of the artwork.
face. And look at the way he's looking and
You can see my caption here, last month in Florence. So after COVID, we came back and my first, we had 3 tours there in Florence with Paola, leading some of my groups, actually 4, because another tour guide, Ilaria, was with her as well. But here is Paola here, back in the Academia. You can see the Academia is loaded with the people. If you want to see it without people, go back and look at some of my previous videos from Florence during 2000, I guess 21 is when we were there last summer. Well, about this time last summer in July, and there is nobody there. You can see tourism is really coming back. If you ever want to travel without so many tourists, you better pack it in this year in 2022, because it's only going to be worse and worse and worse as far as the amount of people who want to get back to travel and who want to go to these fantastic attractions all over.
He's looking. There are so many statues that are blind. Michelangelo's David is looking because Michelangelo gave David not a normal round-shaped pupils, but heart-shaped pupils. So that when there is the inside lid in the pupil, this inside lid is creating shadows and light. Like I was showing over there in the statue, that is the shadow and light that gives soul to the statue in the eyes. It's really heart-shaped pupils and look at
Then they do an
Spending the night in Florence really makes a big difference to your experience. There are a lot of tour groups that come in for the day and leave. If you stay the night and you have a leisurely dinner somewhere, and then you come back, say at 8:30, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, walking down the streets of Florence, it's a totally different city. The streets are lit up, there's very few people out there. If there are, it's the locals. The shops are still open, and it's a different way to see and explore Florence. And that's why I really enjoy being in Florence, because you can, if you have a hotel right in the city center, which we do, then 10 minutes in any direction, you're right in the heart of it all.
Boy, that's a beautiful photo. The Arno River with the Ponte Vecchio in the background. Okay, now, this place, the Il Mercato Centrale in Firenze, has been around a long time. Below, on this 18th century or 18th century building built in the Art Nouveau style, actually it's the late 1800s, the Art Nouveau style. was back in the day, 150, 200 years ago, was a actually market where the locals in Florence would come and get their food to take home and prepare. There was two stories to that market because there was so many vendors who would come there every day. And you can look up the writings of Dante or some of the chronicle biographers of like Michelangelo and the Medici family. And that particular building is referenced, or that site is referenced. But just in recent years, the ground floor has always and will always remain the central market where everyone can come to pick up raw fish, raw meat, vegetables, all kind of dry goods, whatever you want. It's like a huge supermarket, and you take it home and prepare it in your own home. And that market is open 6 days a week, from about 7 in the morning until 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And then it closes up, everything starts over again. They wash it out. The first floor is totally cleaned, closed down, and they start it all over again. Ever since I've been going to Florence in the past, the very first time I went there in the 1970s, the top floor had always been closed and was in cobwebs, evidently. But just recently, and I would say in the last 10 years, I think 2000, I've got it here somewhere, 2014, they opened up the top floor, and local restaurants and vendors moved in to add their own little stalls and kiosks of all those fresh products. But you go there and they fix it and prepare it right there in front of your eyes and serve it up for you to eat. So it's called the Central Market in English, as I was telling Graham all day today, Mercato Centrale, or Mercato Centrale in my Italianized English version, okay? And so you see here, Mercato Centrale is a place where food is lived, told, and prepared by artisans who respect it and know it deeply. It's a space to be lived and shared, and a container that becomes cultural and social content itself, without losing spontaneity and simplicity. So there are artisans there that have developed this small little logo. We don't even really know what it is. It's kind of like maybe a pork chop. Who knows? I don't know if it is or not. Country ham? I don't know. But you can interpret it any way you want to. Plus, the food is there too. So I'm going to let this run so you can see. I think I'm going to let, it must take a moment to continue because I was supposed to talk over all of that. There's a particular artist that has done these drawings all over the place. This is Graham's Google Earth. Here it is, homing in to Florence, the Central Market. I told him, I want to get closer. Look what it looks like. It's right there in the middle. Hey, David McGuffin here. I am in Florence, Florence, and one of my favorite places, Mercato Centrale, the Central Market. Let me just give you a quick show around in the middle of the afternoon when it's not too busy, what this all entails. Oh, this is all the meat. Beefsteak, fiorentina, T-bone steak. This place called, it serves lampa ridotta, it's cow's stomach. Tripa is the other word used all over Italy. I love this place because one of my favorite places is this hamburger joint here. They make them fresh. This place here prepares the beefsteak alla Fiorentina right here on the table. As I mentioned, it's only about 5:30, so nobody's serving right here, but one of the best places right there to eat. That place I just passed, beefsteak Fiorentina, is that T-bone steak made from the white cow of Tuscany, Chianina beef. If you sit up there, and I've done this on occasion, you can get a glass of wine from a place next door, and you go over there and you order steak. It's only, they won't give you anything less than a kilo, which is 2.2 pounds. And so you got to be hungry or ready to sit there and eat a little bit. But it is fantastic. And you can share it with 2, 3, 4 people if you want to. But it's some of the best beef, if you like steak, you'll ever get. Here's the fish. You come in and order your fish and they'll cook it up for you. They even offer cooking classes in this Mercato Centrale. You can see many, many different cooking stations. This is inside the Central Market. What is it called? Art Nouveau design. Turn of the 20th century, so late 1800s. Here we have good old southern pulled pork and fried and chicken. That's a new place. Wings. These are little sandwiches they make, triangle sandwiches called trapezzino. Even Chinese food here, ravioli Chinese, so dumplings. Now we have the pasta shop, sausage, all kind of sweets, dolce. We know this is Cantucci here in Tuscany. Maybe you know it is biscotti. Another bar on this side. There's some more of that lampredotto. Over here, this is a famous dish from Florence, which I have never tried it, but it's basically a cow's stomach. One of the stomachs of a cow. Maybe one day I'll try it. So I remember being in Podermo Campo in Volterra on May the 1st. May the 1st? Maybe it was May the 5th. One of those days. And my friend Genuino and his whole family were in the wine tasting room, and they had big, large fava beans and this tripa for breakfast, along with white wine. And we were in there eating our normal Italian breakfast of cappuccino and some salami and stuff. And Genuino said, "David, come over, it's a celebration day. Come over and try this." Lampredotto, or tripa is what they were calling it. Tripa, the Italian, Tuscan word. So I was compelled to get some, put it in a bowl, a couple of fava beans. They didn't offer me wine, so I just had some dang cappuccino to drink with, but I probably could have got it down a little bit better with some wine. But I looked down at it and, like Leslie here, she has a whole problem with texture and appearance. And I did too that day, but I took a bite. And now I can say I've tried tripa and I never want to try it again. Okay, that's my story on that one. I think I even recorded that, and it's on one of my other Travel Talk Tuesdays from somewhere. Pizza by the slice. Taglia means by the slice. Our pizza in taglia, sliced. And then this is the normal pizza shop with the pizza ovens. You come in and order whatever pizza you'd like, and they make it fresh for you. That's my inspiration for the night, the pizza. Salads. One of my favorite places, the wine bar. And then finally, you have the truffle bar. So black truffles, white truffles. You can see that truffle right there. From here in Tuscany is 3,300. It says dollars. I wonder if that's dollars or euro. That is a huge truffle. Black truffles are 250 euro per 1/10 of a pound. Buffalo mozzarella cheese, salad bar. Then of course, there's a shop you can go in and buy all that stuff. So that's a look around the Mercato Centrale here in Florence. I know my mouth's watering right now, but it's not dinner time yet. I'll be back. Hey, your adventure starts right here with David McGuffin's Exploring Europe. Okay, before I continue to Ireland, I've got this shirt on that I got at a bar way up in County Donegal in Ireland. And it's actually in the Republic of Ireland. And it's called O'Flaherty's Bar in Buncrana. And I didn't even have a clue Buncrana existed. But a few days before I actually traveled up there, I was eating at my favorite Italian restaurant this side of Italy in Ireland called Ristorante Rinuccini, which is in Kilkenny, Ireland. And there was this young guy in there named Rory who said, I said, I've got 5 days or 4 days that I've got to do something with. What would you suggest? He was just a waiter's helper there. So go to my hometown, Buncrana. Go to O'Flaherty's pub and you'll meet my family there. So I drove up there, 4 hours up the road. I drove up there. I went to the bar. I met his cousin at the bar. His cousin went in the back room and got me this shirt. I don't buy souvenirs, but this is a freebie. So I got this shirt from up there, and I enjoyed visiting County Donegal in the very north there of the Republic of Ireland. So let me move on here with this Google Earth transition from Florence to Buncrana, Ireland. Anybody know how to use this thing? This is an app you download on your computer. I had to do that, but it's pretty cool. My grandson said they use this for a project and they have to go find things all the time in their school. And there you go. Amazing Grace Park in Buncrana. You can see where it is way, way, way up here. This whole peninsula right up here in the very top of the Republic of Ireland. The name of that peninsula is Innishowen. Now that I'm looking at it, I misspelled it. It's Inishowen, Innishowen. And again, the Northern Ireland is over here. You see Derry and Belfast, but this is the Republic all up through here, one of the 26 counties of the Republic of Ireland. And so I drove up there, had no plans at all. This is the gateway to Innishowen. So the convention center, the welcome center there. And right behind it was the city of Buncrana. This is looking out into the little lake and to the North Atlantic Ocean as well there. Buncrana Music Festival. I took this just to remind me of the name of the town. The Fratellis. Fratelli is the Italian word for brother. An S on the end of it is not appropriate, but that's the name of a musical group, evidently. I went to an Italian restaurant in Buncrana and got some meatballs and avocado salad. And then I got a pasta dish as well that came up next. You know, I'm always a sucker for some Italian cuisine, especially when you've been eating meat and potatoes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day in Ireland. It's not that it's not good food, but a little bit of pasta and red sauce goes a long way when you're trying to find something to supplement your diet there. This is O'Flaherty's Pub, is on the main street in Buncrana. You can see it's 8:15 in the evening, still daylight. It doesn't get dark until 10:45 or so up there. And all those are not, they're not fake flowers. Those are all real flowers all over the place. They grow very well. This is my friend Rory's cousin there in the pub. He even invited me behind the bar. I don't get that very often, and people are not invited behind the bar very often. But there I am. He gave me a pint of Guinness and a t-shirt. And I went back and told Rory that back in Kilkenny the next week. And he said, well, I've never been behind the bar, and they certainly didn't give me a pint. This is a little bit of the crack, a little bit of the conversation going on at the pub. It's just a traditional Irish pub, meaning a public house. This is where people get together and talk about what's going on with life, have a little drink. There's a band playing there in the background as well. The Guinness Storehouse is down in Dublin, which is 1759. Arthur Guinness started brewing that stout down there, but they have a great advertising campaign using this toucan bird. Here's one of the signs, a lovely day for a Guinness. This is, then I walk back, and this is that same scene with the tide going out from that little lake on the North Atlantic Sea. Loch Swilly, I believe, is the name of this loch here in Buncrana. The next day, I took off and drove up even farther to the north and to the very north, the northwestern tip of the island called Malin Point, Malin Head. And this was on the way. Sheep all over the place, of course. Green grass. Sheep, they make a really good cheese, pecorino cheese. Pecorino is the Italian word for sheep, by the way. So sheep cheese, they make that. And also they provide the milk to make the cheese, wool, all of that stuff. This is an old bridge dating from about 3 centuries ago, crossing one of the little rivers in Buncrana. While these are going a little bit slower than I anticipated, I went up there thinking, what can I do to expand my tours up through here? Here you can see I'm driving way up the mountain and then back down. And this is above the tree line. This is a bog, a turf bog, a peat bog. And it was really amazing to see that. I also came across some standing stones. These were some that were actually protected with a roof that were near the town of Buncrana as well. And these are ancient Celtic symbols and standing stones that the Celtic people, or the predecessors to the Celts, worshipped, whether it be the sun gods or anything else. This is Malin Point, or Malin Head. And so I parked, I walked up, and then I walked out on the coast. This is looking at the North Atlantic Sea. I'm looking back to the east, and you can't see it from here, but beyond the horizon is the island of Scotland. 450 meters to Hell's Hole. Hell's Hole was just where when the tide comes in, there's a rock crevice that forms a hole, and the waves come in and it shoots up like a geyser. But look at the countryside. This is beautiful. Keep in mind, again, that this was in the middle of June. It didn't get above 65 degrees when I was here. I had a jacket on every day, as did the people who you see in all of these things. Lazy cows and dry stone walls.
Hey, David McGuffin here. I am still in County Donegal, way up here in the northwest coast of Ireland, in a little village known as Buncrana. And this body of water here behind me is part of the Atlantic Ocean, the North Atlantic Ocean. It's called Lough Swilly, and it plays a pretty important role in the life of a gentleman named John Newton. John Newton was a slave trader, and it is written that he was a foul-mouthed slave trader, and he was taking a journey from the United States through Canada, back across the North Atlantic, here back to Ireland and England. Well, it just so happens in 1748, in April of 1748, a huge storm came up on that on the North Atlantic Sea. Just kind of rocked that boat all night long. The wind was so bad, howling wind, pouring rain, that it knocked the sail and the mast off. It just blew its slap away. Many people fell off the boat and died overnight. The next morning, the remaining sailors and John Newton awoke to sunshine and no winds, and their boat drifting in the North Atlantic. Now, it's kind of crazy because they were a long way away. They knew where they were, but there was no direction, no way to row a big boat like that, no sail, no mast, no nothing. So for 4 weeks, John Newton and those sailors just kind of drifted in the North Atlantic. During that 4 weeks, John Newton, the foul-mouthed sailor and slave trader, began to found a Christian tract there on the boat and a copy of the New Testament. And because he had nothing more to do and he thought he was just lost for the rest of his life and going to die, he read the New Testament and read that Christian tract, which explained to him in very clear words that he definitely was a wretch, and there was nothing but grace that prevented him to live. And so he began to have hope as he read the New Testament more and more as he drifted listlessly in the sea. They had some salted cod that they lived on. 12 men would eat half a salted cod a day, and for 4 weeks they starved, but they survived. After 4 weeks of drifting in the sea, John Newton found himself right here in Lough Swilly. Looked up in the morning and saw this land and said, "Praise God, I found land, I've been saved." Some years later, John Newton, after he went over and began preaching, he became a Christian and devoted his life to Christ and telling others about the salvation Jesus Christ can provide for everyone. In 1774, on New Year's Day, 1774, John Newton penned these words. This words to this song called "Amazing Grace." It goes a little bit something like this. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and fear my grace relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed, And the last verse goes a little bit like this. The Lord has promised good to me. His word, my hope secure. He will my shield and presence be, as long as life endures. Well, that's the story John Newton wrote back in New Year's Day, 1774. Right here on Loch Swilly is where it all began, when his shipwrecked boat washed ashore. Hey, your adventure starts right here with David McGuffin's Exploring Europe. We'll catch you next time from somewhere else on this island of Ireland.